turn these into these. I am the Great British Chocolatier and you're watching Chocolate Plus. Hey, I just wanted to cut an intro right now to shout out to my wife Naisha, who's given me 21 wonderful years of marriage as we celebrate our 21st anniversary. And these chocolates are always dedicated to her because she is the reason why I've made these chocolates for the last 15 years. I want to thank you for everything that you do and your support. And now everybody else, watch the video. You're going to enjoy. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to another episode of Chocolate Plus. My name is Mark, aka the Great British Chocolatier, and today we are going to be making some salted caramels in a hard mold. You can pick these up from Amazon between $10 to $20. I think there's 21 cavities here, and I have the milk chocolate already in the bowl. So as we know, that goes in for 30 seconds, stirring each time. I'm going to need a spoon for the stirring. And then now this caramel that we're using is a dipping caramel. And we're also going to be softening it up in the microwave and pouring it into a piping bag. So let me just get that ready while the chocolate is doing its first round in the microwave. As we know, this is a candied chocolate, and we stir each time so that there's no hot spots. And with the candied chocolate, there's also no tempering needed. Just 3 rounds in the microwave. Okay, so let's put that back in again. 30 seconds, and we're going to need our scraper. You could also use a large a knife or anything else that's an indented, I don't know what they call them, but this is a scraper because we're going to have to scrape the chocolate off after we fill in the cavities. And you'll see, we'll fill up the whole thing with chocolate. And then we're gonna take it out. Okay, so give that a good old stir. Now, because I was working with chocolate earlier, that's why it was mounted on the second round. It had already gone in before, and I think we're good at the temperature. Let me see if I got my gun here. My thermal gun. And 115, which is very hot. So we're probably going to let that cool down a bit. Stirring helps, adding more chocolate helps too. And this is milk chocolate. Okay, as you know, with any mold, you're going to get a paper towel and you're going to buff out the insides of the mold. That way it prevents any possible sticking to the mold. Okay, so this one's fairly simple. We're just going to dump the chocolates over the molds like this. I don't know if we're going to make a whole tray of it. And they would say, well, you're making a mess there. Well, yeah. I mean, I could have done it neater, but I didn't. Okay. So let's use the scraper. And let's use the rest of that chocolate to get into the rest of the molds. Like so. Okay, I'm making a bit of a mess, but the good thing about chocolate is that when it all dries up, it comes right off. So let's clean it up a little bit here. And an offset spatula, that's what I was thinking of earlier. We could use one of those too. And we're just going to tap it a few times to get all the air bubbles out. I'm going to need a knife. I'm going to get this off because now I've got chocolate on my gloves. Made a bit of a mess. And the reason why you see me making mistakes is because I don't do retakes. You know, it's all part of the learning curve. But I could have piped it neater, which I do as well. You could have just piped it in. So anyway, we're tapping now to get all the air bubbles out. And we can see that on the tray here. And but what we are going to do, because we don't want to make solid, there'd be no room for the caramel. So we're going to just scrape off the sides like so. And after a few minutes, I'm going to dump this out onto the parchment paper. And then we'll start again. If you don't have a polycarbonate mold, you can use a plastic mold, whichever you find at the craft store. Let me get some paper towel. If you don't have any of those at hand, because not everyone's going to have a mold, you could use an ice tray. That works too. Just make sure obviously you clean it out good, and the smaller the ice cream trays, the better, because you want a small cubicle for the chocolate. Anyway, this is the fun part. Look at that. And just gently tap. What I like to do, I'll go in one way, and then I turn it around so that it folds down on the other side, so that whether it does or not, it gives an equal kind of coating on both sides. And we tap, 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 holding onto the mold and scraping it off like so. And I think we're good here. And so there we go. You see, we made a mess, but that's all good because we can scrape it all off next when it actually gets solid. And this will now go into the fridge for about 10 minutes. While we're doing that, this is thickening up. I'll put the caramel into the squeezing bag, which now there's chocolate on it, but that's okay. So 10 to 15 minutes in the fridge. We'll be right back. I'll clean this up. We are going to remelt this, so don't throw this out. You never throw away chocolate. You always repurpose it for something else. So let me put this in the fridge. I will be right back. Okay, we are back. We have our molds nicely firm now. So put it on the side. We have our chocolate here that's getting firmed up. And we're going to put that back in the red bowl here. And I try not to make a mess as much as I made before. Because it's still a bit soft. So that's all good. Whoop. Like so. And that's still good all over the place. Alright, so let's move this to one side because we are going to redo that. What with this? Okay, with this dripping caramel, we're going to put it in the microwave for about 15 seconds. Because we want it we want it to be soft enough for us to pour into our piping bag here, and then we're going to pour it into the shell molds that we just made. Okay, yeah. Put them in there 15 seconds at a time because I don't want to overheat it. It's not going to make it any more runny than it is, you know. What I mean is, if you overheat chocolate, you'll seize it. If you overheat the thicker caramel that we've used, it will turn into a toffee like. But this will not. This will still stay soft. It'll just be red hot to work with, and I don't want anyone to burn themselves. So, running at 15-second intervals. That way I can pour it in here, and then we can pipe it into the molds, and we're going to go up to about a couple of millimeters, I guess a little less than 1/4 inch, so we can top it off. We can top it up with the chocolate. Okay, this is already hot, so I'm gonna just take it as it is now and pour it into. Now, again, if you want to make your own caramel, you can do that. There's no rule to say you cannot use your own recipe. But with Chocolate Plus, I just repurpose what's already out there and make it into something a little different. Taking time and energy, and there we go. All right. Now this is very hot to the touch, not burning, but it's it's extremely warm. So we need to chop off the end. Again, we're not going to go too far down because we don't want to whopping great big out. We want to take about, if the knife cuts it. So we've got a nice little flow, and see if I can take it up to the camera. And we're just going to simply pour in like so. And excuse me for that. And you see, just a little bit more than that. And the softer it is, it'll just get me, because you certainly don't want it peaking above the rim. See, if you can see there, this one's maybe a little bit too high, and we're just going to pour it in. Now you can make this a little hotter if you wish, but what it's going to do, it's going to also melt the chocolate underneath. So I try not to do that. And you just work it in. See if I can bring the camera down a bit. See if that works. There you go. So now you can see what I'm doing. Alright. So. Now you can tap it. But as you see, it's not really changed. So this goes back into the fridge. This goes back into the fridge. And it's going to toughen up a little bit, but it's not going to be solid. You could put this in the freezer, and that'll totally freeze it. But the only issue I have with that is when you put the cap on, when we cover it again with chocolate, the chocolate's going to be frozen and it's just not going to really seal well, and you'll have loose bottoms. And nobody must say that. Nobody wants loose bottoms, and you certainly don't want the bottom to fall out or anything. So I'm going to sit this in the fridge for about 10 minutes, and when I'll be back, I'll have the chocolate in the new piping bag, and then we're just going to pour it on top, and then we'll be done. So be right back. Okay, and we are back. I've melted the chocolate already, and this now goes into our piping bag. Now, if you can skip this step and just simply put it on, spoon it over the pieces that we got here. And just pour this in. Now, I don't know if you hear that noise in the background, but we're doing some maintenance in the building, and you might be hearing it. So, now that it's all good and melted in the piping bag, I can pipe the tops on. And again, not too much but not too little, and we just bring this down again. Oh, it's totally in the wrong place. There we go. And like I said, you don't have to use the piping bag. You could just spoon it in. But I like this because it's a little less waste and more control. And then we're going to tap it out. All right. Okay. Let's put back up here. Reposition this, and then what we're going to do now is just tap it so that we just get out all the air bubbles from the chocolate, and make any adjustments necessary if needed, just so that it gets into all the corners, like so. Okay, there we go. We're going to put this in the fridge for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to knock them all out onto the baking sheet here, and then we're going to cover them with the remaining chocolate and put in sea salt. So be right back. Okay, and we are back. We see it nicely pulling away from the mold, and now it's going to need a little bit of encouragement to get out. So what I usually do is go straight into the surface, because we need it to slam it down. And hey presto. Now do that again. Now when you're doing this, I'm doing it at a slight angle now. Tap it down quite hard. And what I've done in the past, I've tapped it down twice, and like this, and then when I do it again, I've squished them. So always make sure that you don't squish them. And this sometimes happens too, where it gets a little piece gets stuck in the mold and it just breaks. So that's no good, but we're still gonna eat it. That'll be our taster. See, I didn't see those pop out, and I was about to smush them all down. So I guess we could do it gently. Again, that one didn't make it. A few fatalities. If you find it, like I see, it's not pulling away here, and these ones. So I'm gonna just pop this in the freezer, and I'm just gonna take them out later. So now that we have all these, we're gonna get our chocolate in the I'm forgetting everything. Chocolate that's in that piping bag. Just put it on a plastic tray and put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. And of course I'm gonna need my that's not the right one. That's not the right. I've got them right here. There we go. Our sea salt. Now, of course, whatever salt that you want to use, that's the salt you're going to use. I wouldn't use table salt. You could use salt flakes, Himalayan salt, pink salt, whatever kind of salt that you like. You just want the coarse kind. And now, what you find sometimes, all the time, is that near the end of the piping bag, it doesn't get soft. So I just work it over, and then there we go. Okay, twist off the end. I've snipped it a little bit on the end, on the tip here. I usually turn this at an angle. And what we're going to do, we're going to do a few at a time. Now, if you take these directly out the fridge, you don't want to put the chocolate straight on top, because it's not going to hold on. So if these are too cold, it's not going to, what's the word? It's not going to connect enough. They're just going to sit on there and then they're knocked straight off again, because this chocolate's too cold. So you can leave it for a few minutes to get room temperature so they can warm up slightly. And all we're doing, we're just going back and forth. And I should put this into a, let me get that. And then we're just going to sprinkle it on top, like so. Going to move the camera down so that we can see what's going on. There we go. Alright, so I should put it that way. Right, so I won't be in the way. Alright. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, that's the best I can do. Alright. I've got chocolate everywhere now. Alright, so simply going back and forth, and you sprinkle some sea salt. Okay, so that's basically it. Okay, so there we go. I don't know how good this camera is. And what we're going to do with these now is we're going to get our red plate, like so. Our famous red plate. And I've got these small mini, whatever these called, cake liners. And simply just place it inside. And there we have them, but before we finish our display, let's see how they taste. I have one that's broken here. I should have bit it in half so that you see. So I've got to do it again. This is a nice chocolatey shell with a very soft caramel. There we go. My eyes are watering because I breathed in as I was choked and I choked a little bit, but I'm good. So like I was saying, you got the nice chocolate distributed around the caramel. The caramel is obviously sweet and delicious, and the salt just brings it off to another level. So if you like salted caramels, this is another way to do them using a chocolate mold. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell, which will let you know of all the new videos that are being uploaded. We're going to make lots of chocolate treats, fun for you and everybody else to eat, and made your family and friends with the delights that you create. So there we go. That's your salted caramels in the chocolate mold. And thank you for watching, and we see you next time. Till then, bye bye.